因为今年我们 RNG 在 LPL 其实没有拿到一个冠军嘛，然后在这次2017全球总决赛上面，我觉得我们要拿到中国队伍最好的成绩，如果打不赢打到4强，我们就要进入决赛这样的。
Well, we'll find out if RNG can qualify for the semi-finals in a rematch against SK Telecom. These two organizations have history. Welcome back to game number 3. As an update, RNG have once again chosen red side. And while the players are just finishing getting ready, let's talk about the fact that Fnatic have squandered their leads 2 games in a row. They've had a good early game. Maybe they should have won game number 2, but they, you know,
oh, they definitely should have won game 2.
And what this means going to game 3, same side selection. Do we expect the same picks and bans?
Well, I believe it's RNG selecting red side once again, so they still opt for this same choice. And even though, right, we think Fnatic should have won that game, so they should be okay, you'd think, with the same pick and ban adaptation. But the big question is Tristana, because that was a late game teamfight carry once again for RNG. And I want to see if Fnatic first picks it.
And it's important to highlight that Fnatic in the early game, through some great individual play, did not start falling far behind with the Vayne pick. You know, they got a good gank for first blood, then we had the Caps roam up the top side, and we had a few moments where RNG should actually have gotten pretty far ahead in the game. Yeah. So I think RNG are also fine taking the same draft, if that is the case. But what we could see is if Fnatic are saying either we ban away the Soraka, so that RNG needs to think, do they still want to give Janna or not? Or the thing is, you can just ban Janna yourself and first pick Tristana. It just doesn't feel good to ban both Lulu Janna on blue side.
Well, let's find out if Fnatic agree. We're about to jump into picks and bans. The Kog'Maw rotation was sort of the expected answer to that Janna Trist combo from the previous game. And it tended to be the Vayne. And Rekkles had a very good game, but the team was unable to utilize it in the late game.
Listen, Janna is so good in the game right now. The fact that RNG is giving it to Fnatic and then having Fnatic take it is a mind game at this point, because I feel like Fnatic should be in control. That ban is out of order, though.
Oh, Galio, yeah, that's the one they're leaving open. Xiaohu is fantastic on this champion.
I mean, surely Fnatic would first pick it if they leave it up. Otherwise,
they're first pick Tristana.
Like, if they first pick Trist, they give away Galio Jarvan. And Deficio, I asked you before the day, what are the chances RNG get Galio Jarvan? You said 0%.
It should be 0%.
But would it be 0%? Because this series evolves.
You mentioned Aurelion Sol. Would Caps run a Sol
They're doing it
into a Galio? Do they first pick Galio? Is this the Tristana? Deficio, where do you think they're leaning?
I mean, when you ban the Janna on blue side, I said it feels bad to do it, but they won this Tristana so badly. I would have gotten rid of the Caitlyn ban and banned the Galio instead. Let's see if RNG takes the Galio and the Jarvan here.
Yes! I mean, if they don't, I would be so surprised. Unless they get super greedy, but why not? It's the combo.
I agree. I was hoping for Fnatic's sake that RNG were like, nah, let's do something else.
What is the answer? Now, if Fnatic have an answer, and if they win against RNG's best combo, what does that mean? We'll find out later. We need to figure out what Fnatic puts on the table to combat this.
They have to do something crazy now, because they need to snowball around this Tristana pick here to make Rekkles strong enough to make this worth it. Again, the Caitlyn pick, they're so afraid that Uzi and Ming takes the Caitlyn in the bottom lane and destroys Fnatic's 2v2. And they know they need that 2v2 to do well. But they were okay picking a Vayne in the last game against Soraka and Tristana. They should be okay playing against Caitlyn as well instead of a Galio.
You know what I love about this? Is the Taric ban by RNG. Because if you're going to try and shut down Galio Jarvan, it is somewhat of a telegraphed, delayed combo with the hero's entrance, that a Taric pick would work in that situation. So instead of the Karma ban, they ban the Taric because they're like, you know what? That dude's going to pick Trist. They feel like this is what's going to happen. And they're going to give us the favorite combo of our entire region.
And now we get Uzi saying, you know what? I have so much protection already with the Galio in the mid lane. He can go for scaling. This late game from RNG is insane.
Disgustingly good.
We need perfect snowballing from Fnatic right now.
Oh, there is so much anxiety here from Deficio and Jat looking at this pick and ban. Let's see what twists and turns we have in phase 2. Cassio has found herself banned multiple times, along with the Shen. And then there's been some pivots. You know, the LeBlanc has gone through, the Gnar, Orianna are some examples. Fnatic, they still have to reveal what they run into this Galio. Do they go full crazy and play like a Rise and see if they can make that work?
If there's no Rumble ban, I'm going to lose it. Because RNG have done this exact composition, Galio, Jarvan, Rumble, over and over and over again. They want the Rumble in the top lane, unless sOAZ feels like he has something that will absolutely smash it in lane phase.
I mean, there is already some magic damage from RNG with both Uzi and the Galio probably in the mid lane on their side. I like the Taliyah ban here from RNG. I think actually Caps was able to do a lot in the early to mid game on this champion. And yeah, Aurelion Sol is still open, but Galio with his ulti can deal with that.
It's gonna match.
It's so difficult right now. Rise has been one of the go-to picks for teams against Galio specifically.
It's not been great.
It's not been very successful, unless, of course, you are amazing on Rise. And Caps has played pretty well.
Rumble's up to combo to complete the combo.
The Orianna ban a little odd on the end there. Maybe just denies any potential swip swapping.
Yeah, definitely.
It feels weird to me.
A little odd one coming in from Fnatic, but again, it might be a specific matchup in the mid lane they want to avoid. Syndra is still open for Caps here, and while it doesn't feel fantastic to play it against a Galio, it does still give you some early game pressure.
Oh, all right. They could go with Cho'Gath as well if they don't want the super combo on Rumble, but the Orianna ban does feel super, super strange.
And now everybody waits with bated breath. What do Fnatic pull out? What shenanigans lie in wait in what could be the last game of the tournament for Fnatic? Europe's #3 seed, been playing all the way from play-ins, and this is what, their 17th, 18th game in Worlds 2017.
Syndra, Rise, Aurelion Sol, some of the picks that we're instantly looking at. I like the Gnar here for sOAZ. It was a pick he found a lot of success with in the tiebreaker game against Gigabyte Marines, and where he's able to be a threat in a side lane and then of course try and join team fights later. But the mid lane pick here coming in for Caps, it needs to be a big one if they want to win this early game.
Exactly, and when you asked us the question, like, what is the answer to Galio Jarvan? Teams have struggled to find that answer because it's such a powerful combo, but for at least Fnatic, I think having a lot of people who can jump out of the Cataclysm is a good start. Gnar and Tristana can both fit that bill, and then also if Caps can position in the right spot, getting an ult down onto the tank line as they dive in can be extremely effective. As long as he is not the one getting dove on, Malzahar can destroy tanks. So as far as actually having an answer for it, I think Fnatic has done pretty well.
Ooh, okay.
Oh boy.
Morgana coming in the end here, trying to make sure that whoever Malzahar is going towards will not just get instantly blown up, but this pick and ban phase does give Fnatic openings in the early to mid game. Top lane they can go towards and try and get swords rolling. Bot lane, especially to where they want to look. Morgana is not that strong in the laning phase, and especially not against Kog'Maw. And the thing about Malzahar is once he hits level 6, and he can really start pushing his lane, when he's roaming, even if there's a Galio ulti, there's a lot of threat. Because if he actually sneaks down to a side lane and manages to ult a target, that target dies very quickly.
Well, Ming has been the target of the early game for Broxah and Fnatic 2 games in a row. He's given up first blood both times on that Soraka earlier. And now we'll see what he can do on the Morgana. Big eyebrows raised, big question marks around letting Galio Jarvan through, and the answer, the Gnar, the Malzahar, the Kog'Maw. It comes down to execution, gentlemen, and that's where Fnatic, look, they went blow for blow with RNG in the 2 previous games.
And it's just the fact they value banning the Caitlyn over the Galio. They are more afraid of Uzi on Caitlyn than Xiaohu on Galio.
Crazy.
It's very rare that Jet is at an absolute loss for words.
Listen, we live in a results-based society, so if this works for Fnatic, you're going to be able to praise this draft for having the Malzahar and Gnar answer. But giving away Galio Jarvan, specifically to RNG, is an absolute non-starter for almost everyone I talk to in draft phase. But this is where Fnatic has pushed themselves because, as Deficio said, they're more willing to ban the Caitlyn than the Galio, and they opted into this. They opted into facing J4 and Galio.
And as a reminder, that Galio is part of the reason that Xiaohu's stats and those kills in the bottom lane from the group stage were so impressive. It was, what, 5 coming into the day, combined kills plus assists, roaming, ganking, getting Uzi ahead.
Also, Galio mid lane has won every single game so far during the group stages, and also with Faker's game yesterday, where he was able to take over from the early game, roaming to top side. sOAZ will spot the entire party and get to back away.
Well, let's find out. Dark Binding available for Ming. Fire and hits.
Got him.
Sending a message. RNG are here to play 1 win away from advancing to the semifinals. one win away from knocking out Europe's last team.
And this Morgana last pick here, it's RNG looking at Fnatic's comment saying, okay, there's a lot of pick potential. Like a lot of single target CC Fnatic can apply, and they're trying to prevent that with the Black Shield. But again, it will hurt them in the early lane phase.
RNG say, let me invade, and hasn't backfired yet. Gets the stun down from the permafrost. Let me hook onto his flash. Rekkles comes in from the side now. Mlxg is the target. We're off to some shenanigans in the early phase, as that satchel will explode on Mlxg's head. All that is used is Caps' Ghost.
Yeah, but look at Mlxg's health to start this. Luckily, they do have the Galio mid to help with that push on the Raptors, but I wonder if Caps can steal some of these. He can definitely threaten.
He's got the Malefic Visions.
Yeah.
They need to bop that when it's a little bit low. Not the greatest. Gets one. Let's see if we can get any more of those chickens. Nope, it's gonna regen and reset. Okay, Rekkles, by the way, took a lot of damage at the end of that trade. So while Mlxg was hurting, it's Jesiz and Rekkles that are now behind in this HP game.
Now, this is a rough start for Rekkles. Of course, Doran's shield is there and the potion next to him, but you really don't want to use that already. Level 1, and Ming and Uzi here just pushing forward after winning some good early trades.
It's always interesting to see
Level 2 gank.
those early shenanigans impact the game. Mlxg, by the way, for the third game in a row, his first few ganks have been around this top lane, almost regardless of matchup. Still waiting in the wings. Needs to get this flag and drag to land. sOAZ easy hop away.
Level 2 as Mlxg approached with the dead minion, and since he'd already seen Mlxg, a lot of times you're actually not going to skill E second on Gnar unless a gank's coming for you, so easy to escape.
I'm really not a fan of this call here from RNG's side. Like, yeah, if they try and gank before sOAZ hits level 2, then Mlxg could have gone straight away, but his own top lane was also just level 1. And now, sOAZ, because he's on a Gnar and not, let's say, on a Cho'Gath or a Malzahar where it's harder to escape, he just hops away and actually ends up wasting a lot of Mlxg's time. He's now only on his second camp, but Broxah already level 3, gets a red buff, can start getting out on the map.
Let's see what he does. It's an Infernal Drake on the first.
Not even killing it.
Slightly juicier, tastier option, and Mlxg not going to have the strongest starts of the game. I mean, this all kind of spiraled from Letme going in fairly solo. Fnatic, whether they read it or they responded well, I didn't quite see the vision setup. It's made some interesting choices for these players.
But that to me was the classic LPL Mlxg move, where very surprisingly he's going for this gank on the top side, and sadly Frame ends up not getting anything out of it.
Yeah, and I really feel like RNG has been winning in spite of Mlxg's early games. He's still only achieved 1 first blood in these games, despite doing all these inefficient ganks that are meant to set his lanes ahead. But he did not set Letme ahead with that gank. He only hurt his own ability to clear the jungle.
So I want to talk about Ming's keystone here, Stoneborn. Might have to actually touch on it after, because Mlxg is around mid. Caps is very safe though. No reason for him to really overextend just yet.
Ghost and Flash, only 2 minions. So let's go back to Keystone for Ming.
Yeah, so Ming wants to go Ardent Sensor here with the Morgana, wants to land the binding to then apply the Earth and Rune from his Stoneborn pack. And then when you hit that target, of course, you get the healing back and you proc Ardent Sensor. But it doesn't mean he's not going for early laning phase. I've seen Thunderlords and you get W in lane and you try and like harass. Not this time.
It also means that just the Black Shield also counts for Ardent Sensor regardless.
Very true, very true.
So the Dark Binding is just for Ardent Sensor uptime in the late game. One of the better supports when you think about how you support a late game Kog'Maw, because it prevents him from being locked down when you have the Black Shield, as well as allowing him to shred. But it's that early laning phase where you wonder if it's going to be able to shove harder.
Dark Binding connects onto Rekkles while Jesiz is trying to zone away Uzi. Fighting into the minion wave, not too advantageous here for Rekkles. Only 31 CS to 34 of Uzi. And Mlxg is going to show his face in the bottom jungle. I'm looking at the camps. Nothing up to steal. And Flash's barrier heal. Definitely too much to deal with on the side of Fnatic. So it's just a vision game. Good ward. This will keep a little bit more information on the RNG side.
Yeah, couldn't really gank the bot lane either, because right now Rekkles and Jesiz are on their own turret. So just get that one important ward on Crux to try and find Broxah later on. But at the moment, Mlxg been very active without finding success. And Broxah just been farming his own jungle. We'll get the Raptor camp that just spawned.
All right, so 2 games for 2. Fnatic picked up first blood. Let's see if they can do the same. Broxah, once again, clearing out that jungle. Ming, Mlxg rather, I want to look at his itemization this game, see which direction he's going to go. That glass cannon build did not work for particularly long in the previous game, and we can already see a pivot here.
Yeah, well, he has gone with a different smite, but I still believe he's going to be going Warrior because it's the higher priority. Specifically, though, that you do go Warrior Jarvan when you have the Galio team. You're relatively low damage, and you're going to get the damage reduction if you pull off the combo. But
is this going to be 3 for 3? Looks to be the case. Ming continues to run for his life. He's already used Flash and Heal. Teleport starting to be channeled. 3 of them in the bottom lane. Uzi's going low. Fnatic decide to peel away. Letme arrives in the rupture, knocks down Jesiz. A hop and a skip from sOAZ. The teleports were blown, and it is RNG unable to turn it around.
In the mid lane, we also had both summoners used by Caps here because Mlxg ganked the lane. There's still Flash on Xiaohu's side if he wants to go in and Flash taunt onto the Malzahar.
But now Mlxg is walking down, misses the control ward, but they can still threaten them off this turret as long as Galio shows in River, because it's so hard to dive a turret on a Galio mid.
Not going to go for the dive there.
Turning mid though.
Mlxg and Xiaohu maybe turn. They've got to get through Caps' passive and his Nethergast. He's got no flash available. That shield of Durand will do a lot of work in terms of setting up the CC. The flag comes down. Caps has got a Void Swarm out. Puts another Malefic
here,
Vision,
they might just
Call
go
of the
for him.
Void. Here comes Broxah. There's no prison available, but the Nethergrass is. Caps now forced to run away. It's jungle on mid. Combat, Permafrost, as well as the silence comes down. Xiaohu's shield doing so much work. Justice Punch gets flashed away from. Malefic Vision flashed from as the Call of the Void.
Oh, he come back in! It's come back in!
Is it close enough? Caps is low on mana. Goes in for the call.
No,
The grab does not get the hit. Not gonna find the flail either. And all of a sudden, Mlxg and Broxah are running away. The venue is electric, but nobody dies.
They all just keep going back in, not having quite the damage to finish and risking their own lives. Incredibly dangerous ult there from Xiaohu and unnecessary, but as you mentioned, everyone walks away with their lives.
But that first ult from Caps, he didn't actually have any Voidlings down when he did it, and Broxah tried to get in and apply a bit of extra damage, but it couldn't kill Xiaohu instantly. Now we get instead action in the bottom lane. No flash from Jesiz.
Yeah, he's got to be the target. Mlxg is going to look for Rekkles. Rekkles got that rocket jump and fighting. The spicy hot pot sets up first blood for RNG.
Mlxg is so active on the map in this game here. He's trying to stop Fnatic from snowballing early. Top lane, mid lane, now bot lane. Interrupts the jump from Rekkles.
That flag and drag was insanely good.
That was
Mlxg.
really good.
It's so hard to actually kill Trist, right? I've seen so many people raging about it. You can buffer the rocket jump, but the way you can stop it is if you somehow interrupt the Trist while the Trist is already in the air, and that's what Mlxg can do with this flag and drag. They know Jesiz is flashless, but he stays back, and the patience here from him, perfect from Mlxg.
And Rekkles needs to just flash instead. When he sees the Jarvan just wait with the combo, he knows that Mlxg are just waiting for that jump. You have to try and respect that and flash instead.
And the difference in the emotion of the AD carries there speaks to the series at hand where RNG is up 2-0. That's the type of smile you get from Uzi when you know it probably shouldn't have happened, but it's playing out in your benefit anyway, because he knows Rekkles should have flashed, and then Mlxg shouldn't have been able to do that.
And is this Tristana first pick now for Fnatic, getting shut down in the early game. Uzi is even in farm. He's fine just going to the late game. He doesn't even need to trade turret damage. He just wants to keep farming. Down in this bot lane here, the Morgana is also again with the Black Shield for later on in the game to try and stop the engage from Fnatic. Xiaohu is now moving towards the bottom side. No ulti just yet.
No, still on cooldown, so is the teleport. Broxah relatively close by. And that explosive plant is going to allow Xiaohu to escape. Even CS game across the lanes, it is only Mlxg that is slightly behind thanks to those early game shenanigans. And the waves are pushing towards RNG, so Fnatic shoving them in again and again and again. Let's see what they do with it. Where do they move for the vision, and do they make any plays?
And it's about the bot pressure, if Fnatic can make this play happen. It's what Fnatic has played around in games 1 and 2 to much success. RNG hasn't had strong vision control on the bottom side, but that's where the power of this Galio pick comes in. It is so hard to force plays bottom lane against a Galio. Xiaohu just has to shove out lane and disappear, and then you can't make him play bottom.
And we know that in the late game, Xiaohu is going to try and ult whoever Caps is onto with the Galio as well, but it's a good play from Fnatic, moving straight to mid to try and get some damage on the turret. Mlxg is around, Ming is moving from bot lane, but he's pretty far away.
All right, Rekkles takes a couple of tower shots as those crabs are going to get tagged away. The tower survives.
And remember, this Jarvan is very squishy. If Caps can ult him, they will kill him.
I like this play attacking the Galio, much like you go to a Shen lane to push out the global.
All All right, Black Shield is going to keep Xiaohu from being...
Oh, the binding!
Binding connects, Nethergrass onto Ming underneath the tower. Cataclysm Broxah in. That's the second kill for RNG. The tower still stands, and Fnatic gift that one to Royal.
Worst case scenario for Fnatic, when you attempt an odd-numbered dive on the turret, don't get the turret and die yourself, because Uzi, by the way, is probably going to get first turret for himself down bottom.
Oh, he's going to secure this one. The minion wave will die very shortly. There we go. Picked up. 2,000 gold lead, but Fnatic, they've not stopped the siege. Justice Punch is defensive from Xiaohu, and the tower will fall shortly.
Thor's on the way here to try and make sure they can actually get the objective.
Eats a dark binding to the face and cannot continue the chase. Okay, 1-for-1 tower, but RNG, they get the additional kill, the solo farm, and experience, and gold for Uzi.
And we have seen a lot of plays now from Fnatic where it really looks like the pressure is just getting to them. It's so hard for them to properly communicate here and execute all these small skirmishes they have to take. Right here, the taunt onto Caps, straight into a binding, and then he's on the turret, taking damage this entire time. And it was Mlxg you were supposed to get onto, and he found his way in.
Yeah, flash and ult up as well. Does not track all the CC from the Galio. The Galio can interrupt the ultimate with either the taunt or the Justice Punch. Also, Morgana just gets Justice Punched out of it immediately as well, so they don't even get the kill.
And it just goes from bad to worse for Fnatic. We'll see whether or not this Tristana, Kog'Maw, Malzahar combination in the mid-game can make up ground. But they've got such a difficult task ahead. RNG have already swapped their duo top, and they're going to be pushing sOAZ out.
And Uzi already completed his Rage Blade. His support already got the Ardent Sensor. He got the first tower down the bottom lane. He's been free farming in his lane. He's so strong already on this pick, and they need to try and shut it down. They're going for Letme.
All right, let's see whether or not Letme can escape. Oh, very, very easily. Broxah and Caps are simply too late to the party, but Fnatic, they seem to be content with the trade. They've traded towers back and forth. Will be on the side of the map with the Infernal, so that's a benefit. And as we take a quick glance over to sOAZ, oh, that's very aggressive. Hops
going for a play.
Xiaohu's got the ability to taunt and flash in. sOAZ with Black Cleaver doing a lot of work. Xiaohu flashes over the wall. I think Cataclysm ended up blocking him. Ming fires the Dark Binding, not going to. I was expecting it. And sOAZ picks the right route to escape.
Good pathing from sOAZ as well. Draws a lot of pressure mid, even if it was a little bit risky. Still doesn't necessarily get Fnatic into the place they want to be, though. Yes, they're trading turrets, but it's now a Rage Bait completed Kog'Maw in the early game, and they're going to have the Rift Herald to break turrets.
Feels like the tempo of this game is significantly higher than the two previous games. Already 4 towers down, a Dragon, 2 kills, and as this tempo is accelerating, it's leaning in favor of RNG because they've got that gold lead and they've got the kill lead, they've got the ability to take another tower.
And a lot of it is on Mlxg, just kind of picking up the pace here, saying, you know what, I will try and gank a lot of the early game. We had a level 2 gank top lane, didn't work for him. He went mid, he went bot. He's been involved with both kills for this team, and Fnatic have been trying to take the fights against him, but then these small misplays happen, you know. Caps as well in the last fight there when he gets taunted, doesn't get to flash out in time before Binding connects onto him, and then suddenly that's another kill for RNG.
Taking a look at the minimap, Uzi and Ming just waiting in the bush. Mlxg and Xiaohu were making their way through that top quadrant of the jungle. So if Rekkles and Jesiz stepped too far forward, there would have been a heroic entrance and a potential Cataclysm to come down. But was not the case, so Mlxg, Warrior Enchant, Righteous Glory for Letme, Adaptive Helm for Xiaohu. So those first item spikes hit for everybody, and they've survived the early game.
And another thing also about this Galio in the mid lane is that he's really hard to kill. If you even want to try and camp him, you have the Malzahar ulti. Normally, you want to just go straight towards the mid lane, have your jungler come in, and you 2v1 kill him. There's not a whole lot he can do. But this Malzahar just stacking MR in the early game is going to reduce a lot of that damage, and it's hard for Caps to have the impact he wants, because when he wants to roam, Galio instantly kills the wave and just follows him.
Fnatic let that happen. They allowed the Galio to go through. Let's see if they can find a way in. Right, 3v1 onto Letme. He's still got flash available to him. Holds onto it, realizing he's going to be chased down. Jesiz was chasing him with the flash and the heal. This will allow inner turret to be focused.
Now Fnatic with the Tristana can take this turret probably uncontested unless Mlxg wants to try and pull
the combo.
He's going to look for Jesiz. Flash and heal's not available. He's going to escape. Heroic entrance for Xiaohu. He's going to look for the taunt. Jesiz continues to run. A Gnar from sOAZ pushes him backwards. Throws the house at Mlxg.
I'm fairly surprised that RNG goes for that play, because they could have just tried to use all of their members mid lane and trade a mid lane for an inner tier top turret. They don't get the kill despite expending all of their ultimates right there.
They had no extra damage. Mlxg had to leave the fight instantly after the engage, and Uzi was sitting mid, pushing for that tower you just highlighted. Broxah trying to get something here, but he's actually currently pretty deep inside the jungle, and he's all alone.
Yeah, got his ultimate if needed, and flash. Gonna start channeling that flail. Xiaohu, no flash to connect with the taunt. I don't think he wanted to anyway. There's no real damage behind him. So Broxah.
They're actually just trying to see if Broxah wants the early flash to get away.
Yeah, trying to get the flash out of the Sejuani so they can pull off the combo on whoever. Because the main thing about the Galio Jarvan, among all the other things we've been talking about, is finding flashless members so you can execute them. But Fnatic doing a pretty good job attacking side lanes here.
All right, teleport's going to start being channeled. Xiaohu should be able to... No! It's interrupted with the Arctic Assault. But look at just how much time it takes to kill Xiaohu.
There's nobody TPs away from sOAZ when he's about to kill you. Meanwhile, up here.
All right, let's take a look. Mlxg gets the smite down to survive. The crabs continue to chase. Malefic Vision's not in range. Passive from Cap still available. Letme cannot interrupt. All of the word comes out, but he's bought enough time for Mlxg to get away.
Yeah, and even though Caps hasn't smashed the early game, so to speak, the Malzahar does scale aggressively well. The percent health damage you get from the null zone on the ultimate is really substantial. So Fnatic, as much as we want to talk about Galio Jarvan, do have win conditions in this game and have been pushing side lane turrets very well.
I mean, it's what we said in the draft here. Early to mid game, there are options for Fnatic. A lot of it will involve if Caps can get away from this mid lane and start finding other targets than just Galio. This replay, though, is Xiaohu finding himself suddenly caught out, and then he tries to TP away. Oh, knockback incoming. There you go. Not happening.
I love the zoom in. By the way, while that was happening, Rekkles and Jesiz tried to push top lane, and they got zoned away by Uzi and Ming, and on the back end, obviously, Caps looking for Mlxg.
Uzi is about to hit 200 CS, and we are 17 minutes into this game. He's so insanely fed at the moment, and Fnatic are trying to play away from him to get some kills on the other members, but Uzi's just farming.
Yeah, he ended up 12 CS per minute in the previous game, 540 by the 45 minute mark. So incredible performance farming those side lanes. Herald has been summoned in the bottom lane, and sOAZ is being pushed back by RNG's duo.
Yeah, usage of Herald to prevent it from expiring because they haven't been able to get the push on any wave, but now they can group up, they have the teleport, and they're trying to fight around Uzi. RNG needs to fight around this incredibly strong Kog'Maw.
All right, there's the Heroes Entrance Cataclysm combo. This is exactly what RNG are amazing at. Gonna look for Broxah as well, tries to escape, just gets out of range of that Dark Binding. Inner turret is secured along with the kill onto sOAZ.
And it was just a matter of time before they started playing with Uzi here. Instantly they get a tier 2 tower. Currently looking at the mid lane one that they actually want to take down next. I guess it counts, a time roll hit. Not gonna do anything.
Yeah, all that chip damage, dude, it adds up. Not right now because the regen, irrelevant. Because RNG, with their gold lead and with the control of the game, as you said, they're now starting to push these other lanes.
And we were looking at like top lane with the Gnar, bot lane with the Tristana Kog'Maw, saying, okay, there are some lanes here Fnatic can try and snowball with Caps and Broxah together. But they've not been able to actually win these or dominate these lanes.
Because the laning phase was ended so early.
Very quickly, and it's so hard to do anything against this RNG comp and this super fed AD carry now.
Yeah, and if you're going to have an AD carry who's super fed, you'd like it to be Uzi. In the past, when we've seen Uzi on Kog'Maw at this group stage, he's gotten somewhat defensive. They're on to Caps. He has no summoners.
No, he does not. Taunted up by Duran. Letme gets the final kill credit. I don't think the feast landed. And Uzi, by the way, as you were saying, Jat, not only do you want to trust him to carry, he's also got a QSS already into the Malzahar.
I'm surprised he didn't walk away and give that kill to Uzi because he is the main benefactor of this gold. They're still going to have gold onto Cho'Gath. I feel like he's priority number 2.
Oh, man. Mlxg even steals a red buff.
Yeah, and they can get Mountain Drake, which is about objective forcing, which is what this game is very quickly going to be about. The 20-minute power spike, the 2-item, QSS Kog'Maw, the Black Shield, the Galio. It's going to be a Baron Force real soon.
It's a game 3 after you just lost this game 2 that were so heavily in Fnatic's favor, and we can see that in-game here on the Fnatic players. Simply not able to outplay RNG in the small fights, and they keep losing something.
Justice Punch connects onto Rekkles. He flashes, follow flash by Xiaohu. Rekkles is in trouble. No summoners left and gets taken down. Jez has moved in to try use summon a heal. Not quite sure why. RNG find themselves another kill. They extend that lead even further.
They don't have Scuttle Crab control, but if they did, there's a chance that they'd even go for Baron this early on. The reason they don't is because they don't have quite the right play. Look at that halt.
Not going to work out, though. Xiaohu does arrive with a Hero's Entrance. It makes
Really
it very
strange.
low. All right, Glacial Prison on cooldown. Broxah tried to use it to save Rekkles a few minutes ago. RNG, they've grouped up, they're barreling down middle lane. It's a 4 versus 4 for a while. Letme's not there, but look at Uzi with that black shield. Not going to get stopped, not going to get interrupted, and should be able to pick up this tower. Another great dark binding. Ming is doing so much work.
So confident right now because no one can actually kill Uzi at this point.
Yeah, he's going to heal up from the Hurricane and the Ardent Sensor as well in that mid lane. Probably just going to end up resetting right now because he's going to be on another stack of gold. Still 1,500 in his pocket, despite already having all that gold in CS and kills.
You see the play from before here. Fnatic trying to push up mid and top at the same time. Max range. Jump comes in a little bit too late. And then you are caught out. And it's a very, very simple kill for RNG.
Yeah, getting on top of Rekkles, knowing that the ultimate isn't there for Malzahar. Already picking him off. It's stacking on top of itself. In game 2, Caps and Rekkles were both 2-0-3 at 21 minutes. Here, 0-2-0, 0-2-1. It is going the opposite way, whereas it is Uzi, the guy who needs to have all the farm and has all the farm. And it's been Fnatic who has been unable to close out victories with a super fed early game AD carry. The shoe is on the other foot right now, and they're going to have to try and prevent RNG from doing what they couldn't do earlier. RNG with the gold, with the kills. Can RNG play around Baron and close this to a victory?
Well, if the previous game's anything to go by, that Baron into game end felt extremely decisive. And that was without Galio. That was without the combination that really helped RNG make it get to Worlds. 4th tower secured. It's 8 already down by the 22-minute mark. The next dragon will be Infernal. Could be set up another way for RNG to force Fnatic's hand.
Yeah, and Fnatic, they don't really have much of a choice. They have to just take a fight and try and all in on it. If they don't do anything, Uzi keeps scaling and gets harder and harder to win this game. Suddenly Baron dies as well and you can't defend your turrets. While you still have at least some damage with your Tristana and your Malzahar, you've got to try and find an opening, but there's so many tanks. There's a Galio ulti, there's a black shield.
And also, don't forget to buy your pink wards, because they need to have control wards in the Baron area if they're going to force anything. That ward in the back of the pit makes this play completely safe for RNG.
Now that Scryer's Bloom, I think they've just missed it. Fnatic a small sense of safety. Trying to chill on that side of the middle lane. Okay, Letme all the way in the top lane. No teleport available for him, but the living artillery for spotting and you know, guess working those bushes, doing so much. Letme gets turned on. Fnatic deciding to engage. This could get juicy. Uzi, well, using that living Biocane Barrage, just hammer away.
This is not Fnatic's side of the map, so they do not have an easy route out of this one. sOAZ and Broxah are pretty low. The Karma does speed them up, but this gives up any Baron control they may have gained.
At least look towards the top side, but they realize all of RNG on the way.
sOAZ, by the way, is fighting one-on-one against Letme.
That's big.
Gnar has timed out. He's on cooldown. Dark Binding comes up. Uzi's already got the black shield. Broxah, I think, pulled the trigger far too early.
Oh,
and he goes around. sOAZ with the help and the assist of Broxah. Now it's 5v4. Cataclysm comes down. Nethergross locks out Mlxg and interrupt as the hero's entrance comes in. It's a 5v4 and Fnatic are forcing Royal's hand.
And that is the kind of plays you need here for Fnatic to get back in this game. Just some crazy outplays. Take some big risk and see if they work.
They go for the base. Uzi's flashed forward. Look at the taunt coming in. That's already one for Uzi. Now Fnatic are on the retreat. It's a double kill for Uzi. He's got so much damage and so much support. Xiaohu's got a flash available to him. Could go for the taunt, and just like that, RNG turn it around.
It was so good for Fnatic until it wasn't. sOAZ with an insane outplay to be able to kill Letme. And then Uzi just gets a black shield, flashes forward, and kills 2 people. Because he is so fed in this game. The Fnatic is having a huge...
Oh, he stole it. He's gonna go.
He's gonna go for it, but there's not enough damage yet. Needed some additional CC. RNG, they're on the Baron, guys. This is a 2-man start for now. This could be risky.
Broxah still alive, still has a steal chance, but it is technically a 5v4. sOAZ can teleport in. Incredibly risky call by RNG.
Time for some revenge here. Broxah spots this ward here.
This time the Cho'Gath can still feed.
Gonna be in trouble. Fnatic decided to do nothing. They do not contest, do not attempt.
Didn't have any vision inside. So hard to kind of call if Broxah could do anything or not. Without vision, it is very difficult. This is the fight after sOAZ killed Letme. Yep, Uzi with the black shield. Yeah, he knows he can just flash forward. Doesn't have to be afraid of any sort of CC.
Even had the QSS if the Gnar hits him into a wall, so he can kill him anyway. That preps the big call for them to just take a 25-minute Mountain Drake Baron with their control ward to block the vision. They secure it safely. Infernal Drake on the way.
And RNG with a 4,000 gold lead at 25 minutes. Feels like they have an answer to everything Fnatic's thrown at them this game.
The answer's Uzi right now. Get him in the fight and you win the fight. But Fnatic did find a way to actually, I wouldn't say kite around Uzi, but at least try and flank and try and hit other members where Uzi was not in range to kill anyone. It is, again, almost impossible to win the fights like that, but it's the only way out for Fnatic.
Team fighting off the table. Split push, you want to be on the table for sOAZ. It's just incredibly difficult to split push against a team with Nashor. sOAZ is getting to that point. It's interesting how he's itemizing towards defense because it really feels like the team fighting is an afterthought, and the big chance would be to be able to split push against the Cho'Gath. RNG is not about wasting time here. Even if they've been able to play a little bit more slowly during Worlds, when they have the advantage, they try and push.
They're trying to trade now for that top lane tower and inhib. We have Caps up here and Broxah as well.
They're gonna try and kill him here if they can get Caps in with the ultimate.
All right, the minions have died. Void Swarm coming in. As it stands, exposed inhibitor. There's a race in the middle lane. 3 members of RNG starting to push onto the inhibitor turret. Jesiz and Rekkles left alone. There is some support coming in, but that's a dark binding connecting onto Broxah. He takes a Justice Punch to the face. Up in the top lane, inhibitor was not secured, and Fnatic have finished their recalls.
That actually ended up being a trade here where Fnatic did not lose an inhib. Of course, lost a few towers for it, but it was against a Baron buff from RNG. Let's see if RNG actually backs away. They don't really have a reason to because they're still sitting with the buff here, and Cho'Gath is TP ready. They're going!
Cataclysm is down. Rekkles is already down. Uzi is dominating. 6-0-1. A beautiful dark binding from Ming. Gives Uzi yet another double kill. 7-0-1. And this sets up the inhib.
And RNG make it look so easy, but you have to ask, what was Fnatic doing there? They know they can't take the 5v5. They can't take any fight with Uzi plus X, and they did there.
RNG, they want the semi-final. They want to finish this right now. sOAZ, Gnar's out to the back end. Glacial Prism buys some time. Uzi continues to shoot down the Nexus turrets as Cap forced to flash away from the living artillery.
Uzi actually just died.
Uzi has been killed by the Mega Gnar on the back end. Ming and Mlxg trying to run away. sOAZ looking to catch them out with the boomerang. Gets caught by the dark binding. Black shield as well. Tries to delay anything further. But that's a kill onto sOAZ and RNG. They don't get the game, but they do get the base.
You can't help but smile. Uzi there, so confident that he tanks the turret, barriers up, and then thinks he has the overshield from the black shield, but the turret doesn't do magic damage. The turret kills him, so really bad play by Uzi there to die to the turret. RNG still in an incredibly powerful position.
Uzi calling worth it though. He got a Nexus turret down. He needs another one right after. Let's see, sOAZ again is trying to do what we talk about here, just like crazy fighting, try and flank around, find anyone else but Uzi, and then he actually notices this AD carry is taking so much damage from the turret.
Doesn't matter that you're spell immune, the physical damage still hits you from the Gnar in the back, but mainly the turret did over 1,000 damage to Uzi in that fight. But sOAZ tries to reach in the back, does still have to deal with the entire RNG team, and
that's
as much as we're building it up as just Uzi, there are 4 champions that all have their buttons, and they were still able to kill sOAZ.
And that meant that Fnatic were unable to do anything more. They're down a huge amount of gold. They've only got 1 Nexus turret remaining. Why is it always the Fnatic organization that's in these crazy Nexus defense games? It doesn't matter the players, the year, the tournament, the World Championship, they now have to defend a single Nexus turret base once more.
And it's still crazy. This was a team that was 0-3 after the first week of group stages. Ended up 0-4 before they beat Immortals, started winning every single game and made it into quarterfinals. Everyone knew this battle would be very tough against RNG and against Uzi specifically.
Couple of different fights going on. Cho'Gath and Jarvan are up top dealing with one sOAZ, but sOAZ is actually
doing it again.
All right, the target is going to be Letme. He's caught by the prison, but all of a sudden RNG have surrounded them. Rekkles gets onto the board by taking down Mlxg. Redemption buys a lot of time for RNG. Dark Binding delays any further engage from sOAZ and Fnatic. They don't want to chase the 5v4. There's super minions on their base.
Yeah, Mlxg have to learn soon. He just needs to stay with his team because he's getting singled out. But Uzi is still strong.
He really is. Got a lot of mana to keep spitting out those artillery shots over and over. sOAZ trying to play the split push game. He's got himself that adaptive helm to back up the frozen mallet. And that's going to allow him just to keep trying to kite and survive. RNG Gonna keep chasing him down, but sOAZ is doing a lot
flash
to survive. Gets over, finds himself, Letme. Silence, not gonna find the rupture. Gnar out, the shield from Jesiz.
Classic sOAZ.
sOAZ has trained his whole life for this moment. Consistently trying to run away from 3 and 4 people as a single person, and does again in this fight. So, the grand scheme of things, Fnatic is still in this, and I find it so interesting how Fnatic was up 10,000 gold in somewhat of a similar position as RNG last game and could not close it. RNG's gold has never been close to that this game. It's actually only at 5,000, and they can't really deal with sOAZ in these split push scenarios. So there was also the big mistake that RNG made when sOAZ just tanked a turret. Would they potentially tilt after getting toyed with by sOAZ's Gnar and having sOAZ die when that inhibitor is down? They need to refine their footing, pull off their combo, and not let the Malzahar Trist scale into the late game.
Again, but like, stay around sOAZ. Let him walk forward with the black shield, and sOAZ cannot find his way then to actually kill the Jarvan, because whenever sOAZ gets in range of sOAZ, he dies almost instantly. He has to back away then. But RNG have been splitting up a lot. And right now, like Fnatic, they've been molded in this like EU Clown Fiesta style. They can play this kind of way. They actually have good shot calling when behind.
Well, let's find out which Fiesta wins. Mlxg and the Cataclysm down, but he's got a Guardian Angel to bring it back. sOAZ is free hitting everybody on Fnatic. The Rupture throws Fnatic into the air, and Royal Never Give Up find 3 kills, throwing their own hands into the air, celebrating the huge team fight win. Rekkles gets at least 1 back, but now Caps has to do some magic to defend.
RNG caught Fnatic in the bounce house right there with the combo from the GA Jarvan and the Galio, but you can see what led up to that. Fnatic had incredible minion wave control. Look at this. The top lane and mid lane are still pushing, and Caps are going for a kill.
All right, Mlxg is gonna flash away, stays alive to fight another day. Caps trying to deal with the minion wave. This will buy some time to keep that Nexus turret alive, enough for Fnatic to respawn.
Baron was not started here. He got a mid lane tower as well, but sOAZ takes the top lane tier 2 tower here. We get the same kind of fight. Mlxg, he can die quickly, but when sOAZ joins, Fnatic struggle to win.
They don't want to give up this Baron easily. It is a Mountain Drake, they're going for it, but the teleport comes in, and RNG actually has to pull off.
The Jarvan is so low.
Royal Never Give Up. Fnatic send their regards. The Clown Fiesta molded and shaped this team. The animal style is unleashed in what could be the last match for Fnatic. They are still down. They are still with a destroyed base, but they are not fighting Baron-empowered Royal Never Give Up.
And listen, all of this has to do with sOAZ and whether or not he can keep getting RNG to chase him, because RNG need to have everyone together to pull off these combos in the right way. Whenever sOAZ sees sOAZ, he needs to run in the opposite direction.
And that's the game, right? If you're RNG, group as 5 around sOAZ, and then you can start pushing either towards Baron or towards the mid lane inhib, and you can actually win these team fights because you have QSS, you have the Black Shield.
You can feel the tension on the caster desk as sOAZ is running this global taunt. Seems to somehow pull RNG towards him. There's the Gnar that's going to catch down Xiaohu into the wall. Redemption will buy some time. sOAZ's off in the side lane. There's no Gnar available to get rid of him. sOAZ spits out the damage, continues to chase him. Now all of a sudden, they've got to back away.
Fnatic just kiting down here away from sOAZ, but he's going close now.
All right, sOAZ's trying to run down 1v4. There's nothing that they can do. The Black Shield is now popped. Capped, no flash, no Nethergrass. He cannot get one in return.
But that was the best fight Fnatic has had yet, and it's because they played kite back with the Malzahar. They know that RNG needs to fully commit, and with no GA, they were not willing to do that. So the Malzahar kept them at bay, and it's a split 5v5 with no deaths.
Oh, do Fnatic start the Baron? Do they just fight for vision? How on earth do you make a decision in this type of game? 35 minutes on the clock, looking at the minion waves. It feels like Fnatic waves are pushing towards RNG, and the observers are toggling the vision, showing you what these teams have to work.
And quick shot, sOAZ's sitting on 3,500 gold. He hasn't shopped in forever. He was waiting to complete that randoms, but it's not a very strong
now
right.
Xiaohu!
All right, Nethergrass onto Xiaohu. He should get stunned up, but the Durand and the shield and the passive keeps him alive. There was a lot invested for that. No Nethergrass for a follow-up target. sOAZ about to Gnar out. Flash available to him, and sOAZ still sitting on that gold.
We have to remember there's double TP on RNG. Xiaohu can go back to base, still TP, and also has the ulti, but this Baron is getting rushed down.
All right, let's see, will it happen again? That's a stun onto Mlxg, Baron secured by Fnatic, but at what cost? Teleport comes down for Xiaohu, continues to chase forward, looking for a Justice Punch. sOAZ running away from the side.
Beautiful.
Good buster shot from Rekkles. He'll find himself a plant to escape even further. Heroic entrance comes down as Mlxg's already used the Cataclysm. Dark binding onto sOAZ on the back end. Rekkles and Caps chasing down Letme. There's no mana left for Caps. I take that back. The kill helps him out. It's a 1-for-1. Top lane is down.
But Baron for Fnatic, so important. They're still down in gold in this game here. Game 2, they were so far ahead, but they couldn't secure the objective. They couldn't win the game. Now game 3, it looked done. The enemy AD carry was so damn fed, and yet Fnatic have found a way back in this game.
Officio, game 2 looked done when Rekkles' Vayne was on 4 items. This time, Rekkles, or sOAZ rather, can't go back to base with 4,000 gold because Fnatic keeps up the global map pressure, and they're not letting RNG have the fights they want. Look at this kite back. Everyone just scatters. Hits the right timing on the Justice Punch with the Tristana ultimate backwards, and RNG can just never quite get the engage.
sOAZ trying to get close enough. He will actually kill sOAZ after the binding connects. Same thing happens down here on the bottom side with Letme dying. sOAZ went back and got a Randuin's in this game here, even though Fnatic can't really get onto him because of QSS and because of Black Shield. So he's actually right now not going for more damage. I'm not sure I agree with his decision.
It's the flash forward Kog'Maw, and he builds to be able to flash forward. But if Fnatic continue to kite back, they're going to get this Elder, or rather, Cloud Drake, fake me out, goes down to 36 minutes.
By the way, do you see that damage graph there? Xiaohu dealt 0 damage that fight. Fnatic knew it all along. They could play into the Galio Jarvan. I say that sarcastically, but Cloud Drake is picked up and Fnatic is starting to siege with Baron.
And I actually think like a Frozen Mallet would have been better for sOAZ because whenever he gets in range of someone, he needs to be able to keep them there so he can keep hitting. But everyone just kites back from Fnatic. They use the speed up from the Karma to always get away from sOAZ.
And it was sOAZ's mistake that was one of the things that led us on this chase to this moment where he over-tanked the turret with the Black Shield, died, and that's the only death he's had all game. But now the question is actually very real. Can Fnatic keep this Baron buff? Can they keep pushing the side lanes? And can they win this game? Malzahar's got Liandry's against a triple tank line. There's a very real chance Fnatic wins this and extends the series.
Well, Tristana as the AD carry, first picked for Fnatic. The pivot in picks and bans. That E going to do so much work onto the tower. Rupture interrupts the Nethergrass. As Letme was able to save his mid lane, sOAZ gets run down. He's forced to flash over the wall. sOAZ continues to chase with the ultimate. Doesn't use any further summoner spells, but that is important in order for RNG to defend.
Oh, Mlxg is going in!
All right, Cataclysm comes down. Heroic entrance as well. Jesiz left for dead inside the Cataclysm. Buys some time. sOAZ's on a rampage. That's his 11th kill of the game. Flash forward for Xiaohu. Rekkles though, trying to do the work, trying to get the kills, trying to take him down. Letme forced to run away. sOAZ's running low on mana as he continues to chase forward. Can't shoot those ultimates down. A defensive punch for Xiaohu, the second of the fight, but now Ming is the target.
And like, look here, sOAZ is actually in the lane. He's taking down a turret.
sOAZ is playing the global taunt game, trying to play the map. Look at Rekkles. He rocket jumps to safety. Not going to get enough more, any more damage onto RNG. Mlxg playing around the side lanes. Nethergrass comes down. QSS buys some time. He is the target. He gets 2 shot. I think Rekkles might rocket jump forward for this. It feels like he wants to flash as well. 1, 2, 3. The audience is silenced as Rekkles shuts down sOAZ.
The mid inhib is open right now. There are more minions coming in the bottom lane as well for Rekkles and Caps.
Fnatic said they wanted to silence Guangzhou. Fnatic said they wanted to challenge the favorites, and right now they're on the verge of taking down the base.
sOAZ down for 42 seconds, 15 more seconds on this Baron buff, 4v5. Fnatic can get at least 2 inhibitors, maybe even the game if they get some kills.
Let's see what Fnatic can do. Inhibitors going to fall. sOAZ is gnawed out for now. No flash for the engage. 28 seconds, as you mentioned, for sOAZ. The satchel charge on the tower. That's being hammered away from. The Gnar catches Letme under the tower. Nethergrass is up for Caps if he decides to lock a target down. And he does. Interrupted by the Cataclysm combo. All of a sudden, Caps is down. Heroes Infants buys some time. GA gets popped. Rekkles turns it around. 8 seconds for sOAZ.
That's the big one here. Fnatic will just have to take another inhib and then step away from the base. There's a big wave top lane. No turret either protecting that one, but they know sOAZ is alive.
This game is now in Fnatic's hands. 2 inhibitors down. Uzi has been item capped for the last 10 minutes, and watch this long fight one more time.
And look how many times Uzi is hitting someone, but because he can't actually slow them down, they end up getting out of range for him. sOAZ right there flashes over the wall. That's the first one.
sOAZ may have been dead if Uzi can get him, but he does not. And continue watching this fight. Mlxg goes in. They get the big combo. They kill Jesiz. The support is gone. But then it's yes, this fight happened, but the decision-making of sOAZ to abandon this fight prevents RNG from fully chasing them down.
And then Uzi now comes in, starts hitting caps, can't slow him down, so he can't stay on him, have to switch over to the Sejuani and at least settle for one kill here. But that means now Cap stayed alive, and he's ready to fight again right after this, while sOAZ is sitting in that mid lane.
Rekkles so pumped after that fight, specifically when they turned it around to kill Ming, who is the full support Morgana, but he's not the type who can walk up and ult in your face. So Rekkles just straight up kills him. He's now max item Tristana, and the shoe is absolutely on the other foot for Fnatic. This time, the ones who want to be the people who come back.
After securing that Baron, it was a 4.5 minute long siege, non-stop, inside the faces of RNG. sOAZ is playing this game fantastically, and where is this not? I want to see more of it if Fnatic want to bounce back in this series. They're on the verge of being knocked out, and they still need to win many more games.
And again, the situation is the same in terms of the fights. Because if Uzi is allowed to sit there and just keep auto-attacking, if no one actually kites him, he will deal enough damage to win. They're going for sOAZ.
All right, where's the rest of the Fnatic squad? The hop will keep sOAZ alive a few seconds longer. Not long enough, though.
Inhib 3 coming up for Fnatic.
All right, this one should fall. It's a 5v4 at best. Righteous Glory is used, and remember those double teleports on the side of RNG. If there's a couple wards behind, but there's not, so they can't continue chasing.
25 seconds here on the Baron. The Drake a minute as well.
That's huge. The fact that Fnatic didn't get that last hit on the inhibitor, they were afraid of the full wipe, which could turn into the game, but they did not get it. If they can't continue to keep these waves pushed, they could give the Baron over to RNG. Watch Caps in the bottom lane, keeping the wave shoving.
If RNG go for Baron, Fnatic go for backdoor. It feels like that's what they're setting up for. Instead, they've backed away for now.
Still no TP on sOAZ, who's down for 20 seconds, but the big thing here that RNG is struggling with is they only have one person who can clear super minions, and that is Uzi.
Look at
if they don't have Uzi, then they can't actually fight.
They're waiting for RNG to jump into the Baron pit and then move in behind and go for the base instead. Now they realize RNG did not commit to the Baron.
Fnatic should be in absolutely no rush. RNG has had an item cap Uzi for 15 minutes. Caps is still waiting on his death cap. They know they outscale. They know those super minions crash into the base. This is potentially even too early to make this call.
3 members of Fnatic start off. Baron, Cap starting on Elder.
Really
sOAZ is going to join him, by the way. sOAZ, no teleports available. He instead is clearing out the Brambleback and picking up that red buff. Now coming to join Cap, splitting RNG. Cataclysm comes down onto Broxah. He uses that Arctic Assault to get over the wall.
That's very good for Fnatic, because it's very easy for Broxah to get out of that engage. Mlxg right there, frustrated, and just goes straight for the first target in front of him.
Yeah, Mlxg not getting the initiations they want. The pressure has been lost. The inescapable game of Galio Jarvan is about getting flashes down and then killing you on repeat, but they haven't actually been able to get flashes down. Even with that Cataclysm, he goes on a guy who can just run right out of it. They're not playing this game straight right now, but at the same time, they only have one person who can clear those waves of super minions, so they can't get out of their base.
We haven't had so many fights, though, where Fnatic are kiting so well, always hitting everyone else but Uzi. They leave Uzi right there, so again, the Randuins is not doing anything for him because he's not the target. He needs tools to stick to people, and he doesn't get it right now. Like, yeah, sure, you can use the Play the Ruin King active, you can use the active of Randuins if you are in range to do it. Not possible for him so far.
And for the first time this game, Fnatic are even on golds, marginally ahead, in fact, after some of those shenanigans early on. Uzi, 13-2-3. Xiaohu, 1-1-16. Mlxg, 2-1-15. And that's the team that's starting to lose. They've got to defend their last inhibitor in the top lane.
Finally.
Gentlemen, Frozen Mallet picked up for Uzi.
But no boots.
Yeah.
So the movement speed difference, he might not actually be able to keep up.
Just keep the boots, sell the Randuins, get the Frozen Mallet. Anyway, Uzi with the Frozen Mallet now. Let's see if he can actually stick to targets.
All right, you can see that gold grab there, of course, as Mlxg goes in for the engaged captain.
That's a big one!
Hera's entrance as well, but he ends up locking Xiaohu in his own pit. Broxah forced to flash defensively. Here comes sOAZ. He's teleporting. He is Mega Gnar as well. Got the option to stun, to lock down targets. 5-2. Uzi's locked up against the wall. Yet again, nobody dies. Why do these people will not die. Uzi trying to chase. No boots though, only that frozen mallet. Inhibitor is the focus. Rekkles with rapid fire takes that one down. The inhibitor on the bottom lane is being focused by minions, and Fnatic are peeling through the base.
Once again, Fnatic walk away from Uzi before they die, and they're able to now get 2 inhibs down. Third one is very low in the bottom lane.
There's not a lot of ultimates available for Fnatic. They've got 2. Teleport coming into the river. Xiaohu gets interrupted instantly as the Duran taunt only catches Broxah. sOAZ is going to get dropped. No, he survives!
Fnatic lost so many flashes though.
RNG can't get out of their base. They really want to get that third inhibitor down if you're Fnatic though.
All right, where's the damage onto Caps? He's caught by the winds of war. Justice Punch is available, not yet used. Xiaohu turns it around, interrupted by the Nethercroft, then forced to get out, manages to survive a few seconds longer. Rekkles and sOAZ coming in from the flanks. RNG have to do the unthinkable. They have 1 tower left. They have to defend their base.
sOAZ right now just killed that bot lane inhib. Fnatic running out of mana. No flashes left either. They can go back, reset, and wait for all the super minions against a single Nexus turret.
And that fight was so long that RNG have their combos up again. This time with no flash on Caps, Jesiz, Broxah, sOAZ, or Rekkles. As you mentioned, every single flash down. But still, they're in a powerful position. They have the Baron buff, they have double super minions in every lane, and we are harping on Uzi's items because there are so many other things he could do. The other item I want to bring up is Essence Reaver because uptime is absolutely crucial for wave clear as far as getting his W to kill these super minions. RNG at this point in the game just do not seem to have the damage to clear through the minions on top of the Malzahar and the Trist that are going to be hitting them. So slow and steady wins the race here for Fnatic. Focus on getting all the waves in at the same time, getting that turret down, and hiding back in team fights. Do not commit if you're Fnatic.
It feels so funny because that's kind of the opposite of what this game has felt like, Jat. It has been chaotic and action-packed and full throttle from the minute go. And Fnatic are now setting up this final siege. Look, 1-3-1 initiated. Baron empowered, double supers pouring into the base. There's only 1 tower that stands.
We also have to remember Fnatic can't afford to lose a fight. They only have a single Nexus turret on their side. But for now, it's in full control of Fnatic with all the super minions.
Caps is really low. Available for sOAZ as well. Rekkles uses that Buster Shot to escape. Uzi's already chunked down very low. Super's pouring into the base. The Cataclysm comes down. Mlxg's GA is popped. Here comes the Hero's Outhouse. That's going to be bad for Fnatic. Have RNG done it? sOAZ running for his life. Broxah's left inside the base. The Supers are pouring through. Caps still alive a few seconds longer. The burn takes down Letme, but a Justice Punch to the face means Caps follows short thereafter. sOAZ is looking in the back end. Caught on the top binding. One zone goes mad as sOAZ is going to get popped on the GA. The super minions are fighting RNG's normal minions, and it's not done yet. Fnatic failed the offense.
But with all the super minions here, RNG still have to defend, and the fight was so long that Rekkles now sitting with 35 seconds on his respawn timer. 1 minute on source, but there's no minion waves for RNG to grab, and they still have to keep this tower alive.
Yeah, Uzi is having a hard time even just pushing out the mid lane. He should actually be in base right now because there's a chance that these super minions break through the minion wave and still get it. Everyone has to pull back. By the time they actually get outside of their base, Fnatic's going to be alive again.
Good thing for Fnatic though that the fight was so long. And they still have all the minions here. They get to go for round 2.
And right here, if Fnatic plays it slow, I think they just win the game. But watching where Rekkles is positioned right here, he doesn't rocket jump out of the Cataclysm.
It was used.
Caught in the bounce house. Why though?
It was used before with the QSS as well. And then suddenly he gets caught out. We did mention all the flashes that were missing from the last fight. Ended up costing.
But without any champion assistance, the super minions nearly killed the Nexus turret in their base. Fnatic has played this split push game so well until that moment where they just can't quite convert. And that has been the story for them so long. They are so close to pushing this to a game 4. They should push this to the game 4. Much like RNG should have won this game 25 minutes ago. But that's the world we're living in right now.
Negative Baron power play, minus 1,799 gold. And I cannot wait to see the VOD reviews of this game because it is a roller coaster of emotions. We are not done yet. Fnatic will go into the breach one more time. And let's see if they can close it out. The inhibitors will be respawned. You can see the animation on your screen. Fnatic still in a gold deficit, trying to get the first win of the series.
But this Nexus turret is so low from the last fight. A lot of damage on Uzi.
Uzi's get chunked down by that malefic vision so much. The tower's starting to fall. Rekkles gets it down. Fnatic, will they try focus the Nexus? It seems to be the option. Rekkles gets one shot as Mlxg zones in, dashes out. There's the Nethergrass from Xiaohu as Uzi continues to fire away. Great taunt. Xiaohu gets knocked back by the Buster shot down the Gnar. Gets sent flying 2 screens away. Broxah re-engages as the super minions continue to fight down. Buster shot, I take back, is still available for Rekkles. It was only the Gnar. Now Uzi trying to wave clear.
Oh, Xiaohu's
going low. The bomb's not going to kill him though. He survives. He continues to fight. He continues to re-engage. 5 members of Fnatic taking on 5 members of Royal.
They just cycled the inhibitors. Fnatic just need to continue to disengage, and eventually they will win.
Let's find out.
Flash, no flash!
Caps is going to get taken down in just a moment. sOAZ is going to Gnar out. He's got no ultimate available for him though. And the top inhibitor has died once again. Uzi clearing out the wave. sOAZ tries to get a few autos onto the inhib. Rekkles, Jesiz, sOAZ not done yet. Continuing to push forward. Rapid fire after rapid fire. Rekkles is trying to find the damage opportunities, but there is too much of a front line.
It's only 4 members here for Fnatic. They gotta be careful.
Flash! Lock binding gets caught out in the sOAZ. He's forced to flash away. Xiaohu's now in the back end. Broxah is trying to stop the members of RNG. Glacial Prison connects, and that slows down, dissuades, stops RNG's further push. Remember, the tower fell. There is only a Nexus remaining. RNG can't leave their base.
Yep, Fnatic's also going to cycle the 3rd inhibitor once again. As soon as they see Uzi clearing super minions, they should walk forward to get that inhibitor. Instead, they're going to go for Baron, but that 3rd inhibitor will be trivial for them to take when it eventually happens. It is so almost impossible for RNG to escape their base.
I feel like a lot of things should have been impossible in this game, and yet it happened anyway.
Oh, man.
Like a Baron steal, for instance. Black Shield, Mlxg, EQ got 4 wards inside. No control wards for Fnatic. Their inventories are full.
Oh, they couldn't knock him away, and Caps is not here. He's running away.
They get yet another one. All right, the taunt doesn't find a target, and Fnatic are starting to split up. Super minions making their way into the base. This series alone is giving you a quad chance for legendary skins.
We always have to remember the potential backdoor sources on the top side, but they got the fast recalls now on the side of RNG.
Officio, but they don't have Baron. They're fighting now against Xiaohu. They know that Mlxg is on minion wave duty. Now there's also a chance they can't get that 3rd inhibitor. How does it happen again?
The impossible.
Anything is possible today, Officio. Look at Rekkles going for that inhibitor.
All right, he's going to start trying to deal with these inhibs again. But for the Fnatic squad, Baron-empowered minions will at least counterbalance the supers that are pouring into the base. Fnatic and RNG have been on the verge of losing this game for 30 minutes long. And another Baron steal comes in.
Black Shield is really important to enable Mlxg, but also the fact that they have no control wards means they can't push them out of the pit. And then when the teleport comes in, it means Cho'Gath is there. You gotta start smiting. They go for it, and Mlxg saves it till the last second. Broxah still doesn't use the smite. And RNG can't even do a full-on engage because they have to get back to their base.
Yeah, they have to make sure the Nexus doesn't die. CZ rod portals everywhere right now, trying to defend.
Uzi obviously can't build any more items, but if he could, he has earned 33,000 gold this game with his 700 CS. And you would say, like, yo, dude, stop taking all the CS. Some other people need to max items. They don't have a choice.
Yeah,
Uzi has to wave clear with that Hurricane time and time again. And even with the Baron buff, they can't leave their base. That's why Fnatic gets the Elder.
This is big, though, for Fnatic with that Elder Drake. Even more damage to try and kill the tanks here while hiding away from Uzi.
No boots on the side of Rekkles. He's elected for the 6-item damage build.
A few seconds on Jesiz flash will be important for the fight.
But with how long these fights are, it's all about uptime. I love the Essence Reaver from Rekkles. 100% crit, more time on rapid.
Oh, that's it! They've got him! Mlxg is down. All of a sudden, it's a 5v4. This is the 9th inhibitor of the game. That's been killed. All of a sudden, the Nexus is the focus. sOAZ has got the GA available.
Hit the Nexus!
Got backup. Fnatic are making their way in. Fnatic are fighting. Royal never give up. The GA is popped. All of a sudden, Caps is gone.
Oh, but sOAZ is back!
sOAZ has respawned, but he's not going to get the
Get in there! Get in there!
The Nexus is not dead yet, and Fnatic do it! Are you not entertained? Fnatic win game 1!
It only took 54 minutes and 53 seconds. A breeze by Fnatic standards as far as Nexus races are concerned. But what a game. 39 kills, 54 minutes, 100,000 gold eclipsed by both teams. Unbelievable.
I mean, this game, when Uzi was so fit, when RNG were taking control of the map, it was done. But when they try and kill the Nexus turrets, and Uzi tanks all the tower shots and dies, they can't actually finish it, the game gets delayed, and then Fnatic just turn on this crazy shot calling, crazy playstyle where sOAZ is
Shot calling.
I mean, there is a lot of communication there of constantly calling, where's Uzi, who can we actually kill, but we have to always escape.
sOAZ played that game. That is probably the best 5-8-1 game we've seen because he drew so much attention. And also, that is technically the late game vulnerability of the super tank Jarvan Galio teams, right? They went for Cho'Gath instead of Rumble, so their team fight didn't have as much damage, and they could not kill people necessarily fast enough.
Couldn't stick to people.
They held on for so long.
Gentlemen, Fnatic beat RNG when RNG played Galio, Jarvan.
Yeah.
Talk about results-based analysis, but what a game. It was bonkers for literally 35 minutes. And all of a sudden, RNG are now going to be kicking themselves because of that Nexus siege, because of that push that backfired and allowed Fnatic back in the game.
Yeah, and we're talking about how this series we thought was over after game 2 because Fnatic blew that huge lead and you expected
Mental
them to tilt.
boom.
Yeah.
They did not tilt. They played into Jarvan Galio. They fell behind early game, but they persevered, and it's not over till it's over.
I mean, they were struggling so much in the early game. There were so many small plays going in favor of RNG. That was one of the reasons they got that massive goal lead.
As you can tell, we are extremely excited about casting that game, but to hear more about how Fnatic brought it back and won it, good luck to Dash and the analysts.
Thank you very much, Quickshot. You guys are excited. I wasn't expecting to have this conversation here after Game 3 with Fnatic coming back big over RNG. And before we try to make sense of the game itself, I just want to take another look at the final fight here as Fnatic pushes in for the Nexus. This replay brought to you by Ace Predator.
And this just starts with Mlxg once again donating himself, but no GA. But this guy right here, the MVP of this game, sOAZ with the backdoor, drawing so much pressure on a 5v4 with 3 lanes and minions. They gotta have it.
I mean, it's so reminiscent of the Immortals game, right? Yeah, everyone thinking back to that, it feels like it's an unlosable game for Immortals. They have the Baron, they have everything. Surely they're going to close it out, but they throw the game. Fnatic comes back, and again here against RNG, massively down for so much time. I think, despite the mistakes from RNG, and there were a lot of them, sOAZ played an unreal game. I thought he was insane to delay the game for so long and allow them to get back into it and to give them the opportunities to actually eventually get that win.
100%. The team fight execution alone from sOAZ. There was a point in that game when he was literally like 1v5 as Gnar, actually kills Cho'Gath in the back half, and then just gets away. And it's like, no problem.
Yeah, without a doubt, hats off to him for his play in this game, keeping Fnatic in it as well. We saw Rekkles' player cam there reacting, screaming. Just that was a full-on scream there for that victory. And as we talk about emotionally driven players and how this series could swing on a dime, that could be the game that turns it all around. Who's to say? We don't know just yet, but I want to try and figure out how this even happened to begin with.
A lot of mistakes, Dash. There's Baron steals that happened multiple times. I mean, I think this is where it really all actually physically happened when RNG's trying to go for the end. But look at Uzi. He's tanking tower. You build a Randuin's eventually because maybe he wanted to do this again, but he forgot Black Shield doesn't prevent physical damage.
And this is the thing. People will always remember the beautiful flashy plays from Uzi. You know, we just saw one this series when he outplays the Gragas next to the Baron pin. He's on the Tristana. But I've watched over 500 games of this guy, and there's a lot of plays just like that.
I mean, that one is just, it almost feels like he thought the game was just over.
A lot.
And,
Hands off, take the wheel.
Exactly. It's like, almost like they're celebrating because he literally just stands there and tanks, what, 4 turret shots, maybe 5 in a row through his barrier, never even attempts to move away, and just dies. And that was the game. The game was over.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a game-throwing play from Uzi, but it was on Fnatic from there to take it back. And so here's where I want to go to the second Baron steal again, because with 3 3 inhibitors down. And Mlxg comes up big here, just in an attempt to keep RNG in it when Fnatic has control.
And I don't understand when Mlxg decided to become Condi, the son of Baron, and just be a god at smiting and stealing every single one that he gets the opportunity. But the fact that this even happens is amazing. Why isn't anyone on the back of that
this game
pit?
happened is amazing.
But they could have been zoning him away.
I feel like at this point, MLXG is the father of Baron.
Look at that gold grab.
So many Barons.
The
What
fun
is
uncle.
that? There is a total of like 2 minutes of game time where Fnatic is in the lead of this entire thing, and they come away with the victory.
Look at the damage of the AD carries, though. Like 75.
And I mean, caps, right? Like that.
Totally.
It is
That's
the power
true.
of Malzahar in the late game. Malzahar is one of the few mages that actually can punch through the front line. You know, with your ultimate, you have percentage HP damage. You have so much frontline damage that you can just ult anyone who comes forward, and you can be able to burn through them pretty quick.
And a big thing is that Malzahar is used as a counter or an answer into Galio. We saw the late game damage, but it's also the ability to lock them down and shred through them.
All right, but here's the thing. In a loss, sOAZ still put up some pretty big numbers, so I just want to take a look at him here. 19-2-5 KDA with 1,521 damage per minute. He ties for the most kills in a single game at 19. That is with Dandy, and that is the highest DPM, eclipsing Prey's record from earlier in this tournament.
But he went full animal. Just like Quickshot said, the build was just off.
Oh, man.
Like, the build was terrible, and then just the team did not play around him well enough. You have one real damage threat, and they just did not allow him to keep pushing forward every time, and that just doesn't matter what your DPM is, you're not going to win the game.
And reminder that this team isn't built around sOAZ. I know, like, the international reputation of RNG, they always look to him, and you see, like, a composition like that, like, oh, this is RNG's, like, perfect composition. Of course they're going to win this game. This team was built around Xiaohu, and when you take the claws away from Xiaohu, when you put him on something like Galio as opposed to a signature pick like his LeBlanc, like his Syndra, you end up in situations like that where you don't have another damage threat.
And while certainly you could say the team is built around Xiaohu, this game was very clearly built
Yes.
around sOAZ, right? It is, you know, sOAZ and the 4 supports, essentially. And I do think that there were, like, obviously the casters were giving a lot of criticism about the item build and some of the choices that sOAZ was making. I do think mechanically he played the game very well, and I want to be clear that we're not really trying to criticize that. But I do think that as far as the item builds and these sorts of things, some of the choices didn't make a lot of sense. And, you know, had he actually purchased the Frozen Mallet much earlier in the game when he could have instead of the initial Randuins, I think there was a number of times where he would have gotten extra kills and they would have actually ended the game because he was simply getting kited out. And while you can criticize a little bit RNG for that, it was also Fnatic playing very well around, you know, the strength of this Kog'Maw in a windowed time with the W up. They were kiting it out, they were pulling back, and they were finding ways to win.
And to that end, I want to recognize that they were one Nexus turret away from ending the series. And so, wow, yes, we're getting caught up in the moment of, you know, the comeback for Fnatic. They still have to do this 2 more times. And with the lead that RNG had built, with the way they had positioned themselves, I kind of recall to the first game we were saying, well, Fnatic, all they have to do is say, this went wrong, they're easy fixes. I mean, for RNG, to some degree, you're looking at like, hey, sOAZ, don't int into a turret, and we win game 4. So mentality and in terms of fixes for RNG, there's been a lot that's working on the day, and they might not have to switch up a whole lot, as Fnatic has once again elected blue side for game 4.
But Dash, this feels like the slippery slope of the LPL finals when the first game, sOAZ's like, oh, I don't know about this game. We got it in the bag. No. Second game after that, the next loss, third loss. I think Fnatic actually, at this point, could actually take this game.
I mean, it also feels like group stages for Fnatic. They're 0-4. There's no possible they can win. Oh, well, they got one lucky win from Immortals, but Immortals threw that game, right? Oh, they got another win. Oh, they got another win. Oh, they won 4 in a row. They're in quarterfinals, and here we are again.
And it's not just this game. Just last game, it was pretty much Fnatic's game to lose. It was them being ahead, and then unfortunately the throw and RNG ran it back. I think that Fnatic and RNG are super similar stylistically, and this series, even if it was a 3-0, is deceptively close.
There you have it. Fnatic is keeping themselves alive in this series. We'll see if they can keep the momentum going in Game 4 versus RNG. That's coming up after the break.
Rekkles got that rocket jump and dog fighting! The spicy hot pot sets up first blood for RNG. They go for the base. sOAZ's flash forward. Look at the taunt coming in. That's already one for sOAZ. Now Fnatic go on the retreat. Down, but he's got a Guardian Angel to bring it back. sOAZ is free hitting everybody on Fnatic.
Get him, please.
No flash, no flash. That's going to be bad for Fnatic. Have RNG done it?
Knock him away, and Caps is not here. He's running away.
Do it again! sOAZ is Mystery spawn, but he's not going to get the chance. Get in there! The Nexus is not dead yet, and Fnatic do it! Are you not entertained?
If you want to follow the best of the Rift, then you need T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network. We've doubled our coverage, so you can stream Worlds in more places than ever before. With T-Mobile, don't miss a moment from the first battle, all the way to the lifting of the Summoner's Cup. Another reason why T-Mobile is America's best unlimited network.